Hi guys, all right, are we ready? Can you hear me? Can you hear me all right? I'm looking forward to today's match. Are you ready? Are you ready for the video? All right, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to today's game. I'm looking forward to it. Big changes. Looking to see some United DNA on display today. We're going to see some attacking football. I want to see the ball going forward, not passing around the back, none of this three at the back nonsense. I want to see attacking football. It's just the last few months have been without the DNA of the club. And that's what you want to see with United getting back to. Darren Fletcher understands that. Darren Fletcher understands it. He's got the United DNA. He's going to take them in. They're going to score goals today. They're going to attack today. United DNA. That's what's happening. That's what we're going to see on display. And that's what United is all about, that DNA. That attacking football. Nothing boring. That's what we've needed to see. That's what we're ready to see. United DNA. 4 at the back. It's always been that way. 4-3-3. Flying wingers. That's what it is. That's when I played there, Sir Alex always said we'd rather lose 65-0, but try to attack. That's what I heard. Jamie, what do you think? I think Richard. I'm just kidding. But United DNA. That's what we're going for today. Fletcher gets it. He's been here for a long time. He understands. He knows. I play with Darren Fletcher. He gets it. the accent needs work. DNA. Attack. If I see one pass around the back, sack Darren Fletcher. If I see one pass around the back, sack the hierarchy. I'm really disappointed. Where's the goals going to come from? I couldn't see it. I couldn't see where the goals were going to come from. Maybe that's better. I don't know. I couldn't see where the goals were going to come from under Amorim with that 5 at the back, 7 at the back, 9 at the back football. United fans demand it. United fans demand attacking. United fans demand it. How many DNAs are we going to see tonight? Are we going to see how many? How many youth are going to be on the pitch? It is going a little bit Irish. I can't help it. It just goes that way. It's what it is. I'm doing my best. You know, that's what it's all about. The academy. When we came through the academy, the DNA was there. The DNA was there. It's been lost over the years, and that's what they have to bring back. 5, 6, 7 DNAs. At this moment in time, I don't have belief in United, and I want to feel it again at this moment. At this moment in time. No, don't interrupt. No. Oh, I got rid of it. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see a change. It's been coming. It's been necessary. I can't get into like the drolling. I can't get into the drolling. I can't do it, unfortunately. It's impossible. Ooh. Yeah, hold on. Let me listen to Gary for a second here. See if I can Obviously, I'm a part owner in a football club, and when any manager is sacked, I can't do it. Sorry, guys, I can't do Gary Neville. It is what it is. It's close enough. The words are close enough. But that's what I want to see today. We'll stick with my own accent. I want to see DNA. I want to see attacking football. I want to see us trying to get up the pitch quickly. I want to see flying wingbacks. I want to see flying wingers. We can't have wingbacks. Wingbacks is now a banned term at United. We're not allowed to talk about wingbacks anymore. We just have to. We've just got to attack. You know, lose 5-4. I'm good with it. Lose 5-4. I'm good with it. That's United DNA. You know, back in the day, that was it. We scored goals for fun. You know, 4-4-2 proper football today. That's what I want to see. At this moment in time, you know, United lack belief. The fans lack belief. They lack the ability to see the United DNA expressing itself on the pitch. That's what they lack, and that's what we need to see now. Passion, running, everything. DNA, attacking. That's it. So that's what we're looking for. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. United. Do you need to come to a wellness check? What do you mean? I'm fine. I'm about to see the youth play football. I'm about to see attacking football DNA. It's in there. EA Sports. No, wait. DNA Sports. It's in the DNA. All right, we'll end it there. We'll get rid of it there. This is like, it's way too hot. It's way too hot for all of this. But that was fun. I enjoyed it.
I love Huel. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about is Huel. I leave it in the fridge and it's nice and refreshing in the morning as a meal replacement. Get yours now. I did a DNA test yesterday and the result is wonderful. I'm half sexy, half ugly. Playful face emoji. Playful face emoji. Playful face emoji.
The football club. Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll continue. You know, we can keep the mic. We can keep the mic for James Sports.
Are you okay, mate?
I'm good. No, see what happened. Let me explain now what's happened here. Okay. We were in Discord this morning, kind of chatting and things like that. And then, you know, it was like, you know, because we were making these jokes about how, you know, Gary Neville, people been posting all these things like years ago. Gary Neville.
I've been watching Deadpool 2 and listening to Thank You Next by Ariana Grande all day. It's December 2018 again, baby.
Excellent. But no, like people were posting all these clips about things like, you know, Gary Neville back in the day, like saying, we need to play a 3 at the back. I don't know why Ollie hasn't gone to a 3 at the back. I don't know why Ten Hag hasn't gone to a 3 at the back. So we were like, all right, I'm gonna like turn around and be like, you know, people were joking that obviously mid game, now I'm going to do the opposite. So then they did this. And this is essentially what happened. They did this. And made this picture. So I was like, well, I could do that. I'll just do it. I'll just do it in on the video for a minute, and that was the fun of it, and that's it. And that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. So, you know, now I've got to be like extra critical of the manager, things like that. You know, worried about my influence on the team, you know, and everything. So that's where we started today. You know. That's where this is all coming from. And we thought, you know what, we could just do this. Why not? You know, why not? So that's where this all began. And yeah. So there you have it. The explanation of the insanity that is everybody and this club. So if it bothered you so much, then you shouldn't then lighten up a little, because it was all for fun. It's all for fun. Seriously, lighten up. But yeah, look, here we go. We wouldn't be worried about your influence on the team. So yes, there you have it. That's our Neville introduction for the day. James Neville in the building. James Neville here. There you go. But yes, we do have a match today, and it's Darren Fletcher's first of the game. First of ever. Maybe one of 2. Maybe he'll get it for the rest of the season.
James, It's Sal, you cancelled my donation message, so I'm expressing my disappointment by giving you even more money. Maybe I am not a smart man. Also, Ali is bald and Gully is worse.
Thanks, Sal. By the way, I didn't cancel your message. It actually cut it out on his own. I was actually trying to cancel it, and it cut it out on its own. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. You know, it wasn't my fault, you know, but yeah. But thanks, Sal. Appreciate it so much.
You and Footy with an Edge seem to be the few that figured out how bad Ineos has screwed us and Omareem. How much will Neville make on rejuvenation at OT?
I don't know. I don't want to go into, like, being serious for just a moment. I don't want to go into making accusations about Gary Neville and profiteering and things like that. That's what people do to me. They say that my opinions are based on someone paying me or because I'm going to profit off of it, things like that. I mean, is it more likely that's the case for somebody else? Yeah, but, you know, I don't want to get into those kinds of accusations. But you are correct in that I would recommend people watch the video from the other day and understand a bit more of the mixture of things and all of that in terms of how we ended up where we ended up. There's a crazy, interesting article on The Guardian that was posted just this morning or something. We're on one of the few occasions. Well, you know what worries me a lot right now? I'll tell you what worries me a lot right now, which some people pointed out is the case. And it worries me. It worries me because it makes me feel like things are really, really bad. Someone was telling me that I'm as aligned as I've ever been with Mark Goldbridge, obviously. And usually we disagree about absolutely everything, and it's very, like, contentious, and he doesn't like me and whatever. But at this moment in time, we're probably pretty aligned on a lot of thinking of what just happened and what we're about to do. That scares me, okay? That scares me because I'm not a negativity merchant. I'm not making accusations. I'm just saying I'm not a negativity merchant. So when I drop down into that zone of thinking, I'm scared. I'm scared myself about what that means. It terrifies me, honestly. I'm a very positive person in general, and I tend to back up and explain a lot of things that have happened. But
is it true that Jason Wilcox is under a lot of pressure?
I mean, he must be. He must be, right, to a degree. He must be under a bit of pressure now because the spotlight is on him. You saw there's an article from Simon Stone about that and from others. And you're seeing the sort of the focus turn to him, you know. And the thing about it is that, like, if this doesn't, if this doesn't, like, work out really well, it's going to reflect poorly. You know, if we don't do better and then we're struggling to get a manager appointed, like, realize that the next few months, Wilcox doesn't have to just do an okay job. He's got to pull a blinder. I mean it. Like, he's got to have an appointment. Like, if we enter May and people are like, we don't have any manager appointed, the World Cup is coming, we have no signings, we're in 6th place, people are going to be clamoring for sackings all over the place. And everything in that entire spotlight is going to be pointed directly at him, right? That's the truth. So he doesn't just, it can't be a slow boat to that point in time. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny. It's going to be really, really difficult, right? So I think that for him, he's going to have to not just do all right, but pull off a really, really significant blinder of a next 3 to 4 months in terms of, you know, getting the club set up for the future. Getting things really nailed down. You've got to pull one of these big managers, because if you go and you appoint, a Glasner or an Ireola from a smaller club, it's not gonna change the way that a lot of people think about things, especially if those managers are in the bottom half by later. After saying things like interfering and all of that in interviews and such, it's worrying because I was discussing this with someone earlier because I've been trying to think my thoughts through, like, on Vivell and Wilcox and everything that's happened. And they made a good point to me that I will take, okay? Because it's okay, right? It's okay for Vivell to have a different kind of opinion or something like that. You know what I mean? It's okay for Vivell to, have his view on things. The problem is that, The problem you have there is that in terms of the sort of alignment, the alignment is the problem there. That Vavell was obviously not in alignment on the tactics of Amram. But then I thought about how this has been presented recently. This whole suddenly we're being presented with, Amram was supposed to change, over the course of his tenure. And I thought about that and I thought, hold on a second. That makes this whole thing so much worse, right? For the people above him. Because we were sold the idea from Omar Wilcox and such that they hired a manager because he already aligned with the way they wanted the club to play football. So if you hired a manager with the idea that he already aligned with it, and then you're saying, well, he was supposed to change, I don't think that's a very good defense, because what you've just said is you've just lied to us for the last 14 months. You hired a manager who had nothing to do with the way you wanted to play football, and you made him come in mid-season, and you should have sacked him earlier. There was no game model. There was no way you wanted to play. Why you wouldn't have hired a manager on that basis and then told him and then asked him to change, even at the beginning. You would have hired somebody who was doing what you wanted already.
At the wheel, tell me, how good does it feel? We've got Ugarte, Casemiro and Shaw. Our massive striker doesn't know how to score. Ole ole.
Right. It also said he had to be talked out of walking and all of that. And so the point is that, but the point is the concept that from the beginning it was agreed that he was going to change over time. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how this is supposed to work. You're supposed to get somebody to lay in a game model, not somebody to later on implement your game model, not later on, come in mid-season and lay it down, and then suddenly, you have somebody needing to change. So, yeah, it's very concerning in that respect, because it tells me that that there was no game model. There was no idea, that the idea that we had to change. And then what's the game model? It's a 4 at the back and we were going to move to that, but we did a 3 at the back for a year. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So it starts to make things down. But what it tells me is that Jason Wilcox was not on board with the manager, right? And so what I look at is that the way you want to hire somebody, and the reason why all it speaks to me is that they hired the wrong guy in the first place and then stuck by it, is that you're supposed to hire somebody on the basis of you can stay out of their tactics because they play the way you want them to play. You can talk about whether they're effective. You can give feedback on, preparation, training principles, feedback on injuries, feedback on fitness, feedback on, helping them to build a squad, feedback on how they're managing players. That all makes total sense to me. You should never hire a manager that you feel the need to come in and be changing their tactics from the top down. That doesn't make any sense. That's never going to make any sense. That means you've hired the wrong guy. And the minute you even think you have to ask them, you're saying they're going to change their identity, you're already wrong. You've already hired the wrong guy. They should have changed it already at that point. So the whole thing, well, he agreed to change and then didn't change, doesn't make it any better. It makes it worse. It means it was a sham. It means it was a sham from the start, because then you're just saying, we just hired a manager that was available and said he's going to change in the future. And I mentioned this with regards to relationships in the past. It's like, you don't go into a marriage and say, well, she's going to lose weight, and if she doesn't, I'm going to leave her. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine saying that to your wife. Well, I'll marry you, but you need to drop 50 pounds by next year. Not going to happen. And that's not what you're supposed to do. That's not how it's supposed to work. You can't hire them on that. Then they weren't what you wanted, and you're going to have a problem moving forward. in the first place. And then if they don't lose 50 pounds, you can't go to them and say, you said you were going to lose 50 pounds. Well, no, you married the person who were where they were, who they were. You can't change them. Good luck to any of you who are married. Go to them and say, you said you were going to be skinny and hot for the rest of your life. What happened? 3 kids in. See what they say. See how they feel. You know?
No McKenna-level tactician in the interim staff.
Yeah, that concerns me a little bit. If he was winning, they wouldn't have asked him to change, but that's bullshit because all the briefs that have come out since then have said he already agreed to change since the beginning and that it would evolve over time. So no, that's not true. You know what I mean? That was already agreed upon, apparently. And I thought about that, and I thought, yeah, that makes Amarim look kind of silly. He agreed to change. And then I thought, yeah, it was silly from Amarim. You know where else it was silly? To hire somebody on the basis that they're going to change. And then they didn't. And then, don't hire someone and that a system manager who's explicit on their system and say, well, we expected them to change. They messed up the hiring. They should never have hired Ruben Amorim. And my concern is, are Wilcox and Vivell aligned now? Are Wilcox and Vivell aligned on what they want? Are they aligned on what they want? Are they aligned on, what they expect to happen? Are they aligned on what type of football that they want, and who would you trust more now? I've gone on talked about Vivell and things because there's things I don't like that are out there, but at the same time I look at it and I go, fair enough, he wasn't in agreement with the way we were playing football. That's just a mistake on everybody's part. That means you had a director of football, a coach, and a recruitment director that all have different ideas on how you want to play football. That's a shambles. That's poor. I love how we've gone from Carrick and McKenna slander to accepting and understanding their value and talent. What a roller coaster. You guys want to see something crazy? Something hilarious? Because I remember this. I remember things. I got a good memory. All right. This is from when Ollie left. I'll read you a piece here, okay? And you're gonna laugh. I remember. The North remembers. I remember things, and I remember having some decent insight into what happened last time Ollie was here. And here's my point on this as well. Just take a look at it, okay? Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna were keen for Manchester United to adopt a different style of play that was vetoed by former manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Caretaker manager Carrick and first-team coach McKenna wanted United to play with a back three sooner and arrest their porous defending. Solskjaer had intended to change to a 4-3-3 formation in preseason, but United remained in a 4-2-3-1 until the 5-0 drubbing by Liverpool prompted a temporary switch to a back three against Tottenham. United beat Tottenham 3-0 in the formation, but abandoned it. So we've gone from stories that Amarim trained in a back four to switch to a back three after winning a game, to back to the setup that apparently was training in a back three and was supposed to switch to a back three, but kept playing a back four, even though they were losing after winning with a back three. You can't make it up. It's like, it's the irony of our time. It's the irony of our time. This is United. And the thing is, that's true, that story. I don't know if some of you will be around to remember me from back then. I didn't do as many videos and things like that, right? But it was absolutely true that way back when McKenna and Carrick were here, we even had the exact same situation where Carrick and McKenna were training the team very often, God, my camera, in a back three. But then on the match day, Ollie would pick a 4-2-3-1. And Mike Phelan was there giving a different sort of instructions, you know what I mean, to them compared to the guys that we had at that time. Varane was injured. That's why we switched at halftime. Do you remember who got injured at the halftime of the Newcastle game? And I kept pointing that out. And people just denied, like blinders. Do you remember who got injured at the halftime of Newcastle? You remember that? I do. I do. Yeah, same thing. Same thing. Like the situations are virtually identical because I could explain it away, as I did, by saying Mason Mount was injured. You could explain away the switch from a 3 back to a 4 by saying Rafael Varane got injured. Yeah, 2 of the key players for each manager got injured and taken off at halftime, and then they changed to their old formation. It's exactly what we've seen before, down to the injury that has happened, and that's United. And we had this exact story years ago. McKenna and Carrick were setting United up in a 3 at the back, behind the scenes, sometimes a 4-3-3, sometimes a diamond, and then on match day, Ollie would pick the 4-2-3-1 because he felt safer in it, and that's what some other people wanted. We had these exact stories, and I shared them back then, and they were true, and it's true now. It's just hilarious because this is what happens. And all it means is, listen to me, all it means is, here's the answer. Here's the dirty secret underneath of it. Nobody has a clue. Nobody has a clue. Nobody has a clue. Okay? All it means is that we have never had a consistent idea on how to play football from top down. That we've never had a consistent idea from top down and no way to continue for the future. You know what I mean?
Neff with a sense of humor is scary hours.
Neff with a sense of humor is scary hours. We've just never had an idea. We've just never had an idea. On how to play football. If we're going
with back 4, what happens in summer to CBs? We've got 5 who would expect to start.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll go to we'll talk about the team in a minute, and then we'll look at that. During the initial bounce under Ollie, we switched between 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, and 4-4-2 diamond. We did the same in Europe. And a lot of that was Carrick and McKenna, correct? Yes, because they were coaching the team. Remember, Ollie didn't take training, okay? People have to remember that. Ollie didn't take training. So you have to remember that a lot of the variations were he was the one who selected the formation, selected the lineup, selected all of that. But Carrick and McKenna would tend to make training and things like that as well. So it's an interesting thing that we've got here moving forward. So we'll see, man. We will see. This is the elusive DNA. Exactly. We're always hunting. We're always hunting for this DNA. Get the Gary Neville back on. We're always hunting for this DNA, this United DNA, and you know it when you see it. You know it when you see it. That's the Supreme Court definition of DNA. You know it when you see it. You can't define it, but you know it when you see it. And nobody knows it, though. And that's really hard to recruit for, and it's really hard to build a team for. Nobody knows it when you see it until you see it. You don't know. Nobody knows what it is. That's where we are. So, yeah, we've gone back and forth. We've gone back and forth, round and round on this stuff over and over again over the years. And, I don't have the answer. Look, here's the thing about it. I do actually get this DNA thing, by the way. The problem is nobody knows what the fuck to say about it, okay? I get it. I know what people want. And the problem is people don't know what they want, right? Prior, people really thought that we needed to evolve into a very systematic approach, right? Patterns, repetition, positional football, all of that kind of stuff. And then when we start going down that route, people hate it because it's very static. And until it's really good, it looks really bad and it's really boring. And I'm not saying it's the right answer. I'm not saying it would even get there. You know what I mean? But then they'll go, well, that's not United DNA. Well, you're right, because it's not United DNA. We never, positional football, for example, is not United DNA. If there was one thing, not a hot take for me.
I would rather us getting Carrick.
Not a hot take for me. I would rather get Carrick too. Positional football is not United DNA. If you even want to define it in some way, it's not positional football. I think we could agree with that. I don't think that Sir Alex played very rigid, explicit positional football. I don't think that United fans like positional football, to be honest, because to be quite clear, I don't think that highly positional football is that attacking. Not until it's at the very, very end of its cycle. Positional football is very rigid until you get top players in, because it doesn't really unlock the freedom until that point in time, okay? So you could take Barcelona and say, well, that's good football. They've got a DNA. Yeah, but you look at the amount of technical ability that's at that club at any given time, and it's miles ahead of ours, okay? Because it's like, yeah, you could sign Postecoglou. Is that United DNA? He's going to attack, and it's going to be terrible. You know, we all agreed Arteta and Pep football was probably not what we wanted to see at Old Trafford. It doesn't really match it. Why do I ask for Pochettino? Why do I like Pochettino? Because if you were to try to define teams in the Premier League that played with United DNA over the last 10 years that had any measure of decent success, Pochettino's Spurs were pretty damn close. Okay, truthfully. So was Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. Why, Sal, you're cursed. The thing doesn't like you. The modern United DNA is a failure inbred by idiots. That's true. That's true. Klopp and Poch were a lot closer than Pep, Arteta, and any of the other guys to United DNA. Much closer to what it is. Ironically, I think that Amram's football, if it worked, would have looked like that, but it wasn't working and we weren't there. But, you know, it's just the truth. Look at Louis Van Gaal, right? Van Gaal's results weren't that bad, relative, but it was so dreadful that people didn't want it. And it was not United DNA, you know, especially it was only a few years removed from Sir Alex. So, you know, that it's a problem to solve. It's a problem to solve. It's a problem we've yet to really clear up. It's a problem we've yet to really get past. And it's a problem we've yet to really explain, you know? That's just the truth. Ollie was United DNA. Well, agree to disagree on that front, okay? There was a lot of games where the people remember the attacking, people do not remember the defending and how much we defended under teams. Do not remember how much how much time we spent defending in those games, that we were one of the lower possession sides very often in deep blocks and things. Like, we attacked really, really hard in spurts, but we just didn't. We were not an attacking side. And we were very effective with it. Don't get me wrong. But people remember the good parts and not the bad parts. But that is what it is. How do you think that changes the priorities? Which aspect of it? Getting the next person? I don't know. I don't know how it changes things. You know, I think that they have to sort it out. They have to sort it out. They have to sort out what to do, you know? You know, they have to sort out how to actually align on what we need and then pick somebody. But I think that we need what we've always needed. We need what we've always needed. What we need is right, exactly, Kugdil. The clips of beautiful transition goals, but that's not consistent over the course of seasons. What we've always needed is closer to when we hired Jose Mourinho. Yeah, the bot's broken now, so those of you who like it not reading out, you've got your wish. If I was in charge, I would hire Neville, Scholes, and Butt for the rest of the season to show us the United DNA. Yeah. No, but really what we need was closer to when we hired Jose. A strong manager who owns the job. We can't get around that. A strong manager who owns the job, who wants to play attacking football. That's what we need. Jose, at his best, was an attacking football manager that was fun to watch. At his worst, it could get really dreadful. But in terms of concept, it was closer to what we needed at United. Okay, so a strong attacking manager with a lot of grit, who can own the job, who can face the media, who can face the music, who can face the noise and handle it well. Who is also a very, very good coach and man manager. Thank you, Jonathan Hammond. It's been a while. Good to see you again. Appreciate the gifts. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've been well. Yeah, I hope you've been well. I hope you're good. You're back. Good to see you. Was it just because Amarim was sacked that you're back? Was it that bad for you? Was it that bad for you? You know, like I said, the original list we went down. Yeah, when we first signed Lukaku and we had Pogba and all of that, it was great. Here for the microphone. Well, thank you. But yeah, yeah. It was brilliant at first, but you know, when we were looking at what we wanted right after Ten Hag, when we looked at what you wanted right after Ten Hag, we did interview managers that were a better idea. Not all of them, but look, I don't care what people think about this manager or that manager. I'm not going to try to convince anyone that someone is exactly the right guy. But in terms of profile, Thomas Tuchel, I think the two bigger managers we interviewed were Tuchel, Pochettino, I want to say De Zerbi, and McKenna, and for different reasons, right? For different reasons, those guys, right? Tuchel and Pochettino more similarly. McKenna, experienced coach who, if he didn't have the experience at United, I think you'd dump that one, truthfully. If he didn't have experience at United, you'd probably dump that one. De Zerbi doesn't quite have big club experience, but he is a strong manager with who's expressed, you know, he fits sort of the profile quite a bit more, and obviously multiple jobs now, a bigger job in France. The problem for me with De Zerbi is he's weird. He's like I don't see how that's going to work. The way he treated us, the story about hanging the contract up to get more money out of Marseille, some of the players he's accepted into his dressing room there, not for me. Not for me. Not for me. That worries me a lot. And then the problem is that Tuchel, Tuchel didn't want the job under those conditions, and he made a lot of requests. You know what I mean? He made a lot of requests in terms of what he wanted, and that's part of the problem that we've had. And that's the problem we're going to continue to have, is because we still need a strong guy, but we don't need somebody who's going to say, I have to have that player, I have to have that player, I have to have that player, and turning players down. We can't go all the way back on that direction and swing. You know what I mean? We need to stay the course on a general sense of where the manager's going to want to say, I need those positions, but not pick the players. Who is that going to be? Right? And I think that list is potentially somewhat small. We had that problem with Thomas Tuchel. We did have that problem with Thomas Tuchel before already. That's the issue. I think that of the initial interviewers, Poch and McKenna are the two who would be most likely to accept the job. Okay, if you talk about, I'm talking about from the sense of accepting the job, those would be the two guys that I think would be most likely to accept it. But anyway, it's whatever. Look, guys, it's match day. It's match day. It's match day. We're going to play a match. The lineup is going to be out in 10 minutes. Okay. So, the bot's back on again, reading things out. Well, there's no donation, but if one does, it will read it out again next time. The match is coming. 10 minutes till the match starts. As a reminder, I'll be live over on Big Up for the Match. Can you believe we're playing football right now? It doesn't feel like it with all the discussion that's around everything. But yeah, we play football like 2 times this week. Again, we play a bit on the weekend as well. If you want to, you still have time to go get your picks in for Burnley versus United. These are the ones that I've put together. These are the picks that I've made. You can use the link below, and also obviously I'll be over there on Big Up to play the game and do the watch along and all of that. But let's think about lineups here. Let's think about lineups here, because firstly, I just before we hear the lineups, no Cunha, no Delict. Oh my God. No Cunha. That doesn't look good. Mazen, welcome to the Pro Muppet. Apparently no Cunha. Bruno, Mainu, Mount, and Maguire are back, but no Cunha. Lineup comes out in 10 minutes. What do you guys think the formation's going to be? 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. You know, the lineup's going to be out in 10 minutes or less. 3. What do you guys think the lineup's going to be? That's what they said. No Cunha. Don't worry, guys. What do you guys mean no Cunha? We're finished. What are you talking about? It's Burnley. We have enough to win. We have enough to win. It's Burnley. No excuses. Anything less than 3 points is a failure. Come on. That's what we're doing now. Anything less than it's going to be 6 defenders on the pitch, guaranteed. Yeah, it's guaranteed. It's Burnley. Yep. Remember, if we see 6 defenders on the pitch, that's a problem. If we don't get 3 points, that's a problem. We play long ball to the striker, that's a problem. But no, seriously, we should win, right? We should. No, you don't get to do that, Issa. You've been bitching for 12 months. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. After all the personal attacks, nobody gets to be waffly now. You need to stick to your guns on this, okay? I wouldn't be surprised if we get a point. I will hope we win. I will hope we win. I will hope we win. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a point. I won't freak out about it. I hope we get a win, though. All right, so you guys think we're going to do a 4-2-3-1. All right. Let's go to our lineup here. What do you guys think it's gonna be? Deshko. No, team news is in 7, you guys. You remember, it's an hour and 15 before the game that the lineup comes out. Remember, it's an hour and 15 before. Super chat did not read out which one. Oh, if we're bringing back Ollie, let's go all in and bringing back Varane and Ronaldo. YOLO. Thanks for reminding me. No, I hope we win. I hope we win. Who's gonna start? Because he said that Bruno and Mount and such would be on managed minutes. You'd imagine that they would be. So we're probably gonna see Casemiro and Ugarte in the middle. We even have any forwards? I'm going to guess Shaw. Gary Neville just said he won't support the return of Ollie. All right. Yeah, I think it's going to be Dorgu here, right? Dorgu's our right winger. I mean, you guys do realize that the most likely thing is that it's basically the Leeds lineup, right? Like, most likely it's the same lineup as Leeds. Heaven and Yoro. That's what I was thinking. It could be. It could definitely be Lissandro though. Been getting.
You've been getting plenty of hate on X-Man. Never understand those people. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Zerobi. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. It is what it is. People can't handle a different opinion to theirs. But hey, we move on. We move on. I want United to be the best and win. 5 gifted memberships from Mazen. Thank you for that. Appreciate it very, very much, my friends. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, no way can Maguire start. I bet you it'll be Lissandro because I'm guessing experience here. I'm guessing we go for experience here. God, who do we even have? Right? Xerxes in the hole. You can't say that, Aaron. Amarim's been underperforming so much that Cunha out shouldn't matter. We should still be winning because we should be so much better than them. Right? Can't say that. Oh, Cunha is with the squad. What? Rob Dawson says he is with the squad. He was last off the bus. He is with the squad. We're saved. So he was just taking a nap.
Mainu is an absolute disgrace along with some of these other frauds who have shown the only thing they are good at is getting managers the sack.
Why do you say that, Hammer? Because they're fit now. Can I ask? Is that why you're saying that? Is it the fitness thing? Because look, you guys know where I've been. You guys know where I've been. And I don't agree with that, okay? But firstly, Ruben said that they were fit, that they would be back after Leeds. He said
Next
that Bruno
manager must be a superstar. No half measures.
I agree on that front. Because Bruno and Mount were already back, according to Ruben. Look, I saw the thing on Instagram, but which is separate to the. I don't believe the injury stuff. Okay, I don't believe the injury stuff. The Instagram stuff sucks to me. I think it's crap to do that, and I think it's lame that we let it off the fence. That we let it out. That we let those things go. I don't care who it is. You know, it's like we can't just keep doing this, man. You know, there can't be. That is one thing we can't swing in the opposite direction and suddenly there's no consequences. You know what I mean? But the injury faking stuff is crap. The injury faking stuff is crap. Nobody's faking an injury. Like I said, they have not downed tools on the pitch, decided not to play. They did not down tools on the manager. So I feel more positive. Look, I feel more positive about the togetherness of the team and the squad than I have before. And for me, that's probably the best thing that Amarim did. Is I've never felt in this sense that the squad that we have is aligned and focused, and that they're not downing tools and they're not quitting and all of that. Okay, this is the first time when we've sacked a manager I felt that way. So if Amarim does absolutely deserve credit for something, it would be that. I don't think they quit on the team. I don't think they quit on the manager. I don't think any of that. And they were definitely injured. I mean, Harry Maguire was injured, against Spurs, and we've already heard if you followed the last week or so that a lot of them were coming back. I don't think any of them are doing anything wrong here. It was supposed to be short. It was supposed to be all of that. So no, I'm not biting on the idea that any of them are faking injuries. I don't believe that that's true at all. In fact, look, I've heard explicitly that they were injured. Obviously, someone could be lying, but no, they were injured. I've heard that quite explicitly as well. But look, I mean, just for what it's worth, this pretty much is the lineup from the last 3 games, just so you know. So it's just going to be in a slightly different formation. So, I think that goes to show, will this formation work better? Well, we'll see what the lineup is in 1 minute, but will this formation work better with the same players? Will they be better platformed? Will they feel more comfortable? Will we go forward and all of that? I guess we'll find out in an hour and 15 minutes. But yeah, we'll see the squad here in just a second, okay? But no, look, realistically, like, I can understand people being unhappy about almost everything. A lot of stuff that Amorim did. No doubt about that. Totally understand that. That is totally true. Yeah, so the lineup is Lamens, Dallo, Martinez, Bruno. Oh my God, Bruno's already back. Mainu's on the bench. Casemiro, Ugarte, Bruno. So it's the... Of course Bruno's back already. It's this, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's this. Heaven, Martinez. Okay, Heaven and Martinez. So not Euro, Heaven. Dorgu, yep. So, Ugarte's been selected over Kabi. We're playing with 7 defenders on the pitch. Maybe, because that's what's fit. Heaven's in the team. Heaven's in the team. It was my mistake. I was changing it from Euro to Heaven. Heaven's in the team. So I count 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders on the pitch. It could be a 3 at the back, but wouldn't this just be the Newcastle 4-2-3-1? Couldn't it just be the Newcastle 4-2-3-1?
7 defensive players. Fletcher out. No, to be quite honest, guys, obviously it's fucking fine. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. For fun, obviously I will be, but it's fine. Because realistically, this is the best we can pick at the moment. Is it 3 at the back? Realistically, this is it, right? This is the best we can do right now. That's why I said there's always been too much panic about things. It's like, it's not going to change that much, especially not right away. People expecting some huge change. It's going to be pretty damn similar. It's going to be pretty damn similar. So, yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It never mattered. These are all the things. The reason I point out these hypocrisies is these are all the things that get brought up that are crap arguments. The things that are understandable arguments that have merit, right? There's things that people say, there's criticisms and shit that has merit, and there are things that do not. And I'm not going to be a hypocrite.
It never mattered. It never mattered that it was 7 defenders. Very often it was only 5 defenders. Some of the stuff that was being critiqued never mattered. We just dropped a bunch of the youth out of the squad. That's fine because they're not ready. It never mattered. Anybody there could have seen it. It never mattered. All that matters is, moving forward, do we play good football and win games? That's it. Everything else is bullshit. You know? Everything else is bullshit. And suddenly, these things that mattered will not matter anymore. Okay? Suddenly, all these things that were a big deal will stop being a big deal. That's it. So, you know, let's as a community move on from this crap. Let's
Kuna will
move on
struggle
from
regardless of who comes in.
Interesting. You think so because of his positioning? That could be. You know, let's move on. As a community, let's move on from this shit. I don't want to turn. Genuinely, like, I joke, right? I joke and I'm like, I'm you know, I'm being a dick a little bit and turning things around to give back a little bit what people give to me. But I said over the course of the last few months, this stuff doesn't matter. I'm not going to turn around and be a hypocrite. And that was one of the points I made, by the way, in some of those viral kind of clips that have gone around about people in hiding and what are they scared of and blah, 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 right? Because they only pop up when it suits on these things to talk about it. And then not when it doesn't, you know? Not when it doesn't. They'll only pop up because they don't like them. And then they stretch it into an everything. They stretch so much criticism into everything and make everything a bigger deal than it is. The reality is this team has been selected today for the same reason that it's always been selected, for the same reason as before. It's what the coach thinks gives them the best chance to win the game. And that's it. That's it. Nothing else. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. It doesn't matter that much. Okay? So we forget it. We're going to let it go. And I make a promise to you, outside of the occasional joke and things like that, I will not do what the people who will be hiding and not talking about the same criticisms they had last week are not going to talk about today. Okay? This shit doesn't matter. 7 defenders, 6 defenders, 5 defenders, I don't care. Whatever the coach feels is the right thing to win those games, that's what matters. If they don't get enough, then so be it. If they don't get enough success, so be it. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. You know, we just drop it. We're not going to do that here and say, look, oh my God, no academy kids on the pitch. Oh my God, no academy pitch. They don't get it. How did Fletcher do that as an under 8, you know? Because he's picking the team that should win this game. And it'll be the same at Brighton. There'll probably be no academy players in the team the rest of the season once AFCON returns. Probably none. Because maybe they'll be right. And there isn't anybody. Maybe that's the truth. You know, like I said, when people get so worked up about things, they fail to see that not everything is wrong and not everything is right. But I see nobody's talking about the fact there's 7 defenders, and I'm not going to complain about it. It's fine. That's what's available. That's what we've got. More important than an interim manager is to get coaches. I thought we would build a permanent club chosen coaching staff regardless of manager. That's an interesting one too, you know? That's an interesting one too to think about as well. I agree.
Of course, formation and style doesn't matter. It only matters to top Reds when a manager they don't like is in charge.
Yeah, exactly. No, Aaron, what happened? No, look, I'm not giving you a hard time, Aaron. I appreciate you very much. You're a nice guy. But I'm just saying, you know, come on, man. You know there's things you've complained about that are going to not be a problem moving forward because you don't dislike the manager. It's how we are. It's how human beings are. Who's the 7th defender? It's Dorgu. Like, we can't pick and choose. Here's the funny part. Let's just look at it in terms of irony, right? Remember how there was a whole thing about how we have 3 center backs on the pitch against 3 center backs on the pitch against X team, or when we're against the relegation side. Well, those 3 center backs are the same guys. It's the same team. It's the same team. It's the same team. It's a back 5. It's the exact same personnel as the back 5. It's the exact same. That's it. We don't have Ahmad. We don't have wingers. We don't have forwards to do this. If anything, it's more defensive though, because look, we have Ugarte and Casemiro with Bruno deep. So you could argue we would usually play with an attacker here. And in the midfield, it's actually almost more defensive. That was always my argument about the 3 and about having Bruno deep, is that you realize that going to a 2 in the middle with Casemiro and Ugarte is more defensive. Like, this is a defensive formation. You know what I mean? Obviously, how it plays out and whether you score a lot of goals and whether you attack or whatever, all good. That's the important part. That's all that matters. But we've gone from having an attacker deep with 3 forwards ahead of him to essentially changing nothing. We've just reshuffled the team. Tell Zach in
red that he is not the one anymore.
Like, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Who cares? Who cares? It's the same setup. But it usually would have been like Mbumo here with Bruno deep. Now we don't have those players, so we can't even do anything differently. But it's just not that important. It's not that important. It's never been that important. What matters is how we look, right? Do we win? Do we score goals? Does it work? The personnel, the formations, the things like that never made that much of a difference. All that matters is how does it play. I hope it works better. I hope it works a lot better. And I hope we have an amazing game. I hope we do smash them. And I hope it's 100% true, and I was totally wrong about all of it. That we go into this and they're platformed, and they're platformed better, they perform better, and all of that. I hope so. That would make me extremely happy. It's good we have Bruno back to attack in this kind of situation. It's good. I hope it works. I hope we smash them. I really do. So yeah, no, zero criticism. Zero criticism. It's not rage bait. It's not rage bait at all. What are you talking? What is rage bait? That I'm not mad about the lineup? That's crazy. What a crazy thing to say. How's it rage bait? That I'm not mad about the lineup? I don't care about the lineup. It's what I expected. I expected it to be basically the same as what we played the last few games which is what it is, because that's the team that's available. That's the team that's available. You got to pick the team that's available. This is what it is. It wasn't going to change a lot until we get players back. And when we get players back, then we'll see. Are we going to play different? That'll be a real question. When we get players back, what do? How do we make it more attacking? Every time I point out hypocrisy, it's rage bait. I know, that's true. Look, when we get players back, you can add Mbumo in here, right? And then it's basically trading a center back for a midfielder then, if I'm not mistaken. That would be the difference. When we get like an Mbumo back, then the difference is we're going to trade a midfielder for a center back, a defensive midfielder. So maybe that's a little more attacking, maybe it's not. But you're also dropping Ahmad. The actuality is you're dropping Ahmad. You're dropping Ahmad for a midfielder. Like, at the end of the day, when everybody's fit, here's what's going to happen, okay? And Mbumo's going to come in here. And Mbumo's going to come back. And then, if you look at how we used to play, we're essentially going to drop Ahmad. We're going to drop Ahmad for Ugarte or Menu. That's what's going to change in our team. We're going to drop Ahmad or Ugarte or Mainu. Like, just realize that's the reality of what team we're going to pick. We're going to drop Ahmad for Ugarte or Mainu. That's the change that's going to be made under a 4 at the back manager. It'll be Ahmad for Mainu or Ugarte. Or Mainu or Ugarte. I had that right. That's the change we're going to see moving forward. Because it'll look like this with maybe Mainu right here. Ahmad will play, Šeško drop out. Okay, fine. So then Ahmad or Šeško for Mainu or Ugarte. That's the difference. That's what's going to change. Ahmad, you might be right. It could be Mbumo up front and Ahmad right here. So it's going to be Ahmad or Šeško for Mainu or Ugarte when we change to a 4. That's the team we've got. And then we won't see Dorgu as well. Likely it'll be Shaw. Ahmad as a 10. Where does Bruno play? Like this? Bruno back in the double pivot with fewer defenders behind him? And then Ahmad right here? I don't know that will work any better. Why would we put Bruno back deep? Wasn't that part of the problem? One of the problems I do agree with. Wasn't this a bad pairing? Wasn't this not working? Because you had 3 defenders behind them. Now you only have 2. Isn't it going to get even worse? Bruno in the midfield, Ahmad 10. Like, yeah, that would be very aggressive, right? Moving forward. But now look at this defensive. I thought wasn't a big thing about Bruno being deep. There's no way people can request a Bruno deep now. Come on. There's no way people can now request Bruno deep. No way, man. This is going to be even worse with Bruno deep. Ahmad right wing and Mbumo 10. No striker. No way are people saying now we should be Bruno deep. Come on. That's what I'm saying. There's no way people can request that. So Ahmad's dropped. Or Šeško is dropped. And Mbumo up top. Ahmad here. Šeško dropped for, let's say, Kabi Mainu. So that's what we're saying, yeah? I think that's the most likely outcome. Although I still think we should do this. I still think we should do this. Could Ahmad play right back? I don't know if that's bait, but that's good bait if it was. After complaining about him at right wing back, it would be really good bait to ask if he could play right back. This is probably the best option moving forward. Cunha false 9. Well, who plays off the left? Okay, I figured it was bait, Gonter. I did figure it was bait. Okay. Or do we go 4-4-2? How does that work? Well, we still have to drop somebody.
4-3-3, Brian left wing, and Ad right.
Like this? I mean, fair. To me, it's not that different, but yeah. Fair. Too many defenders to not enough. That would be the United way, right? We just like swing wildly back and forth, like in different directions all the time. That would be the way we do things moving forward. No, look, I'm quite curious what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I am curious what's going to happen. I'm really curious what formation is picked moving forward and how it's going to be deployed. I mean, we at least know it's going to change, right? From what Ruben was doing in terms of how you deploy it. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but like, I don't know that we have the players for this. I don't know that we have the players for this, especially out the back. First of all, you can't. I don't think two lefties is going to work, right? So moving forward, you're probably going to have to get. Well, wait. What about when De Ligt comes back? De Ligt comes back. Could you do this? Because you need pace. What about the pace at the back? Don't we need some pace in the back line if we want to press and we want to do things? Because then you're going to attack like hold on, 3-2-5, right? You invert Dallo and you go like this to attack. That gives you a little bit of pace in your cover and size back here. That would work, right? I'm not baiting. I'm serious about that. That's probably the right way to do it, right? That oh yes, good point. Forget this. Hold on. Mazraoui as a right back inverting into the midfield. Yeah. Then it's good. This is good. I'm good with this. This makes sense to me. If you're going to go 4 at the back, this is how you're going to attack. Right? If you go 4 at the back, this is how you're going to go attacking in a 3-2-5. You're going to invert your right back to the middle next to your 6. You're going to push these other guys out. All right. Well, we could drop De Ligt. Okay. You can go Euro then. Right? This looks good. Like, that's bait? You say everything's bait. What do you mean that's bait? What's wrong with this? This is good. I think this is as good as it's going to get with the squad that we have. I think this is probably the best fit for all these players. Right? I mean, you could argue, that the best fit is to go with Šeško up top. And put everybody back on their natural feet and things like that, but
do this for a laugh. Scaloni 433, surely to delect Maz, case Mainu Ugarte / Kuna Sesco Bruno, give Bruno the Messi role.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't want to go change all these players, but yeah, that's an interesting idea. You're misusing rage bait. It's not fun when you misuse rage bait. This is not rage bait. This is fine. Oh, sorry. I put them in the wrong spots. We could go like this. This might be fine. You could swap them around. Cat who cried rage bait. Something like this. Now we get mad. Now we get mad because we have nobody with pace here, right? But for aerial duels. No, I don't think this would be like, I mean it. I don't think this would be like worse or something. It's just another idea. I don't know that it would work. Oh, Mason Mount. But we lost Mason Mount. Now you got to ask yourself.
Vivel won't want Sesco drop. He pushed for him.
Now you got to, that's a big problem. Now you got to ask yourself something else. And be honest. That should be Mason Mount. Am I wrong at present? It's not 3 at the back. It's 4 at the back. It's not 3 at the back. This is 4 at the back. I'm looking at the attacking formation. I'm looking at the attacking formation. This looks like the best way to use this team. Yeah, and then we have a bench. Now we have too much depth, right? We switched to a 4 and we can't figure out how to get all our attackers on the pitch. That's fine. Take out Ugarte for Mainu? No, absolutely not. It says Ugarte or Casemiro. There's just no other thing. Then we're just being unreasonable. It can't be Mainu. It has to be Casemiro or Ugarte. You can't play with no defenders. I think this is about as good as it can be. You know, again, we're talking a back 4 here, okay? Just for what it's worth. We're talking a back 4. This is about as attacking as we could possibly be. This is about as attacking as we could be as a team right now. You start in a 4, maybe it's a 4-3-3, you know what I mean? Like a 6 and 2 8s, right? It's a 4-3-3. You start in a 4-3-3 with a 6 and 2 8s. Could be Casemiro, could be Ugarte. Doesn't matter to me, to be quite honest. Although I do think you need legs for a 4-3-3. And then when you move into the attack, you push up. The 8s push up. You slide your right back inverted, and you do this. And you do your normal 3-2-5 that everybody else does. It makes sense, right? This is probably our best bet at the moment. I think it's... I'm confused. We're going to concede more goals. We're gonna concede more goals, but we can get fewer attackers on the pitch. I don't understand. No, I'm not moving Mbumo. Sorry. I'm not moving Mbumo. Mbumo's not moving to the left. We could do this and put Šeško in the middle, but we're not moving Mbumo to the left. Isn't this Ten Hag's setup? Yeah, I think so. Now, we will determine, was he just a bad coach? We have better players from the attack standpoint. So was Ten Hag just a bad coach? And it would have worked. I don't know. Anyway, it's whatever. I guess we'll find out soon enough because everybody will be back. Oh, yeah, I don't know. All right, well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun either way. It'll be fun either way. But yeah, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept. Ahmad Wright and Mbumo making runs in behind has looked good. Which is the United DNA lineup again? That's the United DNA lineup. Okay. Oh, hold on. Move everybody. That's the United DNA lineup. Yeah, I'm still hearing no January signings. Sorry, guys. I wish I had better news on that front. Beautiful. No, it has youth. It has youth. All right, cool. Well, anyways, guys, we'll get to the we got a match in 30 minutes. I hope this goes well. I hope it's great. I hope we win. I hope it's a wonderful match. I will be back here after. As a reminder, use the link below to get your picks in before the game. I'll be live over on Big Up in 20 minutes, and then I'll be back here after to discuss, see what we see, and all of that, you know. And let's hope we have a good game. Let's hope we have a good win today. Let's hope for some positive momentum moving into the FA Cup this weekend. Some positive momentum moving into, you know, the next bit. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Oh yeah, 45 minutes. I forget what time it is. I'm sorry. The game is in 45 minutes, but yeah, I'll be live over on Big Up in like 30 then. You've let the online space bring the worst out of your person. What are you talking about? Why do I have to be serious 24/7? What do you mean? It's a joke. Like these are jokes. This is we're having fun. If you haven't noticed, we're having fun. I'm having fun anyway. I hope you guys are having fun. Anyway, thank you all for hanging out today. Appreciate you all. Looking forward to the match. Let's see how it goes. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes, and on Big Up, and then I'll see you here back afterwards. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Enjoy the game. Good luck, United. Let's see how it goes with Fletcher and everybody. Hopefully we can get the win against Burnley. Goodbye.